All right, let's just set the scene. So we're a project manager, large-scale data centre project managers hitting the site, coffee in hand, a bunch of priorities he's trying to get done just as he's landing on the site. Priority at the moment is structural steel. So he calls his scheduler, where are we at with structural steel? Scheduler goes, sorry boss, the weekly reports, Friday reports haven't been issued by the contractor, we haven't got our updates. So frustrated, drops the phone and he starts trying to call the sites, seeing what's going on. But being a busy site, all the superintendents, foremen, they're out in the field dealing with multiple work faces, trying to manage resources, logistics, getting the day-to-day job done. So they're not answering the phone. So he doesn't get his updates. So he assumes everything's okay and battles in to start his day, trying to deal with all his challenges of just running a large-scale project. This is what we see as a typical day in, day out on projects, a traditional way projects have been run. So, but it doesn't have to be like that. Gagamuller, our focus is on taking a data-driven approach. So using data, connecting services, digital tools to be able to enable the teams. So Gagamuller is a project manager consultancy company. We're primarily in the data center space. We're focusing in Europe, building on lots of data centers, supporting mainly direct with the data center clients. So we kind of bridge that gap between the client, GCs and contractors. So handling information is kind of the key to what we do. So what I want to introduce is our PMC, which is Project Manager Consultant AI Assistant. So the key here is how we can easily access information that at any time, that if you're trying to answer that information or you're trying to get information or progress updates, it's readily available from the team. We've got our AI assistant is a construction subject matter expert. It's trained on specific project data. So you've got the schedule, you've got your CDE and the different tools that you're using. That we've got that connected into a central data warehouse. It's deep knowledge across all the project disciplines. So this is where you see a usual challenge is each of the disciplines, the data's siloed, you've got your different specialists in different areas, and it's trying to gather that information together into one place and have it accessible in a collaborative area that everyone can use it. It's integrated with other project systems, CDEs, Procore, Autodesk, or maybe P6, that you have access to those live systems, and it's empowering teams with augmented decisions. So it's giving them the information at their fingertips that they can make quick decisions in real time. So you see from the intro there where your project manager is trying to get the information, that progress update, where he hasn't got that update, there's an opportunity loss where he can make a decision there. If he had that decision in the morning, he could be looking at how he could mitigate the risk or the delay opportunities. But not having that, it might be the end of the week before he gets that information. So that opportunity is then lost. We have a look at an example here where we've got our AI assistant. You've got your project manager. He's now going to answer a question, where are we at with the structural steel work package? So in the back end here, it's connected to your construction plan. You've got your digital tools which are capturing progress updates from the field. And here we can see that the start on site date is on the 8th of November. And it's looking at the baseline here. There's a 5-day delay. It's also seeing that there's a question asked, what's causing that delay? So it then looks at the relationship and the prerequisites and other tasks that are leading up to this start on steel date, and it's saying there's a delay on your pad foundations of 5 days, and follow on from that, the final question is, how do I mitigate this delay? So then it's giving him ways of mitigating it, saying increased resources. It's looking at the current output and can say, here are some ways to mitigate that delay. So it's about having access to multiple facets of the information of the project information and data, and then being able to give sort of quick results back. And it's something that project manager can then action in real time and then start to mitigate that. So it's having that information early where the value of those decisions can then really make an impact with the projects. So we look at these systems. What are the drivers for success of these type of systems? Trying to have a data-driven approach, enabling people to be able to build with data is trust. So that's one of the biggest keys. Having good, quality, reliable data. I think that theme came up quite a bit this morning where people are talking about the data. If you don't have good quality of data, your next steps and next stages become less valuable. There's no point in layering AI on bad data. You'll just get faster, quicker, bad decisions. So that is the key. And without that, and that's probably where most people are getting stuck, that you need to have good quality, reliable data. And having a framework where you can tap into all the data sources and have a central place like a data warehouse or a big SQL server where you can store that and it's accessible. You've got a front-end system that's easy to use and accessible to the people on the team, so that non-technical people, it's not like if you've ever tried to use Revit or one of those packages, there's a real large barrier to being able to just operate that. There's a technical barrier. So you want a system that's accessible, and I think with the onset of like the new large language module like ChatGPT and Gemini and things like that, people are getting much more used to being able to interact with those type of interfaces rather than specific softwares and things like that. And finally, adds value. So there's no point in questioning it if he's not going to get any value back. So is it going to save them time? Is it going to give them more contextual information about the project? And can it automate tasks? So right now we're connecting we're training these chatbots on project-specific information, and that it can feed in information from, say, the design team or the scheduling team or the cost team into a central place. The data foundation. So all this doesn't happen by chance. It needs to be built on a foundation of data. That you've got a cloud architecture where you can store data in the cloud. You've got APIs connecting into your multiple systems and servers and things like that, because we don't want to prescribe what software they use. Everyone has a different software for a different purpose, for a different tool, depending on their discipline. So you need to be able to let the people do their day-to-day jobs in their software tools that they have, but be able to capture that data. You need governance and data quality, because without these standards in place, you're trying to compare and link data from different teams, different organisations, can be really challenging. So you need to have some sort of standards, governance, data quality, so that you're getting good quality data coming into the system. Integrated ecosystem, so that you're connecting into these multiple software, pulling through the data that you can connect centrally. Automated data pipeline, so you don't have to sit there, wait for your Friday reports come through and then process it. It's running the APIs that are running, they're connecting to the data, whether it's hourly, daily or weekly, depending on what you need, but typically that it's automated and it's just running in the background. And then security and access control needs to be layered on top of that. So what's the future of construction? I think there's been a lot of talks today where you see we're starting to see lots of good tools coming out in the market. The digital footprint of your construction site is growing extensively, and now this is really opening up the opportunities to really leverage data in a meaningful way. Whereas probably 10 years ago, the digital footprint on the construction site was a lot smaller. now you've got a massive digital footprint. And it's like, it's more challenge is like how to handle that data, how to manage it, and put it into kind of categorize it so you can then leverage it in a meaningful way. So that's kind of some of the challenges that we're facing, is how do you categorize the data, and it's kind of where what we're doing is we've got industry experts teamed up with like technology experts, and that's kind of the sweet spot that we work with in Gagamuller. So we've got empowered people by technology. So you still need your processes and people in place doing the day-to-day work, and then you're enabling them with technology and tools like this, and it's augmented as well. So you don't just have chatbot agents going out doing the day-to-day. They're going to be interacting with the construction experts, being able to help them do their day-to-day quicker, more efficiently, automate sort of repetitive tasks. Yeah. Okay, so that's the end of my presentation. That's right. It's hard to judge.